Please pray with me. Lord, may we each recognize that prayer changes faith, faith changes behavior, and behavior changes the environment we are in. Amen. Please be seated. It's a holiday, so you get a short sermon today. You're being rewarded for showing up. This gospel makes it clear that far more than just 12 fishermen, tax collectors, and whatnot have been following Jesus around. Here he selects 70 from his large contingent, probably sent them out 2 by 2 to places that he hoped to visit. I want to explain that just a little bit. The 70 represents the 70 known nations in the world at the time of Jesus. These nations were first listed in Genesis. So in other words, the 70 are being sent out to all the known world. Jesus himself actually would not be visiting all these locations. He was on his way to Jerusalem after all. But he would be doing so through the actions of these folks that he was sending out. They were not to try to do the job without help. Rather, they were to ask God for more workers when they arrived at their destination. You see, Jesus knew this job that he was calling disciples to was way too big for 1 or 2 people. So often in churches today, we feel we can sit back and let those paid to do the work Jesus is calling us to do everything. It takes a lot more than clergy or a parish administrator or an organist or a sexton or a music director or a children's director to spread the gospel in a place like Warwick. In Christian service, folks, there's no such thing as unemployment. God has enough work for every person in this room. The 70 were elated. The word elated is not used often in the Bible. When they returned, they couldn't shut up. They were so excited and wanted to share their experiences with Jesus. I have seen this phenomenon many times here at Christ Church. People enthusiastically tell me about the results they experienced in their particular ministries. I've had a meeting with the Healing Hands ministers who in a group session told me about what it was like to pray with an individual for their needs or those of a loved one. They shared how moving that experience was for them. Members of the Saturday breakfast seek me out anytime I venture down there to tell me of their interactions with the guests and with each other on their team, and how those moments are changing and exciting them. The thrift shop ministers tell me regularly the stories of the people that they serve and the people who bring in donations, who linger to tell stories of their lives. These stories are heartwarming and at times heartbreaking as we realize how shopping there is helping people get by. And then there are overseas mission trips where we encounter people in need from a very different culture. Our missionaries recount every evening on our mission trips with wonder the successes they experienced that day building a church and working with our brothers and sisters so far away. They can't help but feel as if they have received more than they have given. These are but a few of the ministries here that can and do have experiences like those 70 that Jesus sent out to all the world. I think the 70 others and our own Christ Church outreach members serve as a reminder that Christian mission is not the onerous task we often think of. Jesus shared the enthusiasm of the 70 with us, but he brings us all back down to earth in this gospel reading by reminding us of our most important victory in it all. That they, those 70, and indeed our names, are written in heaven. This honor, you see, is more important than any accomplishment those 70 or us can do. And as we see God's wonder at work in and through us, through the ministries listed and more, we should not lose sight of that point that he makes so beautifully. The greatest wonder of all, thanks to Jesus, is that we are actually heavenly citizens waiting to return home. Amen.